And we're live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. Vlogcast that comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. This Vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect when some people on Facebook that I knew back from high school were posting whatever the hell they felt like on Facebook, even though it was factually wrong, which was the way that they wanted to do it. And I was correcting them, which was the way that I wanted to do it, which was apparently wrong in their eyes. Part of this is also to follow through with the old adage that sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. I'm known as Shujin Tribble all over the place. You can find me under that name pretty much anywhere. I was born into a Roman Catholic family in Brooklyn, New York, raised on Long Island. I currently reside outside of Buffalo, New York, and I'm an unabashed atheist, although I'm giving serious consideration to Satanism because, you guys friggin' rock. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. We've got almost a full group, so let's get right over to it. Starting from the west, up over into Canada. Good evening for you, Dallin.
Good evening, folks. Online known as Dallin, born and raised in north central Canada to a Lutheran family. Religion was not a very large part of my life. Even though I did attend church regularly, I was always told, never stop asking questions, never stop imagining, and above all, keep an open mind. And that has served me very well in my years. Up until recently, I was a very live and let live individual. Until I saw that the people I used to laugh at on TV, the fundamentalists, were gaining a little bit too much power and using it the wrong way. And that's when I decided it was time to take a stand, and I chose the side of, well, humanity.
Moving to the south, into the United States, into the pretty much the middle of the whole damn thing. I don't know what you want to call it, the Midwest, the belt of the taint. I don't know. Bridget Fitch, good evening, hon.
Hi. Online I'm known as Bridget Fitch. I come to you from the buckle of the Bible Belt. I was born and raised in the South. Was raised Church of Christ. Went to a Church of Christ high school, which is very fundamentalist, and decided in 2003 that was a bunch of bullshit, became a humanist, and decided to take a stand against theocrats and patriarchy.
Moving to the right on your map, over to south of me into Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Joey.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Joe. I was born in an Irish Catholic family in Chicago, Illinois, raised in Ohio. Spent 8 years in the United States Armed Forces, and I'm now living in Pittsburgh as a graphic designer and an atheist.
Continuing to the right, into the shadow of the great Satan itself, Unrenewed Tech. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Man, today was a great day. It was like 70 degrees Fahrenheit. All the politicians in D.C. must just shut up for the day. I'm your resident screwball and atheist, Unrenewed Tech. I currently reside in Maryland, and I grew up in a mixed religious background. One side of the family Jewish, the other side Catholic, so maybe for many interesting family get-togethers and many interesting discussions. And but at the heart of it all, the most important part was my parents always encouraged me to ask questions and to think for myself. And ultimately, I managed to think myself out of Judaism and Christianity. Here I am.
Jumping over the pond over to England. Good morning, Chris.
Oh, good morning. I'm Chris, currently based in the north of England. I was raised sort of nominally Catholic, but it never really took. And from an early age, I was an atheist, but I was just ignored the whole thing for many years until about 5 years ago, where through the skeptical movement over here, I started seeing the amount of damage that nonsense and other things are doing in life and how deeply ingrained they are. So I started slowly to speak out.
And moving south from there, across from the channel, over into France. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning. My name's Joseph. I was brought up in London, Ontario, Canada, in an Anglican upbringing, and didn't see much sense in it. So today I'm doing all I can to promote critical thought and independent value judgments, morals.
Excellent. All right, first off, good morning to the folks who are checking in on the question and answer system. If you're watching live, please, by all means, take advantage of that. If there are social items, I will eventually get rid of them just to make sure that the actual questions stay in there. So don't take it personal. I'll leave stuff in there as long as I can. So this morning, Katie, good morning, calling us the crap crew, which is starting to take at this point. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
It'll make a
I
hell of a
have
t-shirt.
no objections.
None.
There are so many worse names that people like us, people who are atheist or secular humanist or agnostic, are called on a daily basis. Crap crew, yeah, I'm willing to handle that just fine.
Yeah.
And
It's,
besides, we already do it to ourselves. What are other
We
people
are
going to
voices.
Yeah, let's claim the name, guys.
do? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
let's-
go to craft or what you got.
all right. So I guess by wait a minute.
apologetics
haven't
means
heard-
crap.
Wait a minute. We haven't heard from Bridget on this one. You didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything about what.
So are we going to make this? Well, all right. You've got to check with Heretic Woman afterwards too. But
Yeah.
what say you, female of the group? You double X listing personality.
What? Say me about what? What would you like me
Are
to
you
say?
even not? Do you even know what the hell you're doing on the show? Really? I mean.
I am. I'm trying to recruit people to come ask us some stuff.
Oh.
I know I'm not very good at multitasking.
Okay.
She's actually contributing to the show.
I am.
You're making fun of her, but at the same time,
You
she's
are.
actually doing work.
I am. Really.
Damn, man.
I had to put a link here so people could find us. And here we go. Posted.
Wow.
No, what he wants to know is how you
Wow.
think about the misnomer of crap crew.
I think it's awesome. I did a thumbs up a while ago. Am I too short for people to
I-
see it?
Busy looking at who I'm switching the camera to. You really think I'm going to see your little...
I was doing a thumbs up. Katie has my vote for Crap Crew.
Well, that's all well and good. You know
Or you
what?
can call us C squared if you want to.
You know, we don't really need Heretic Woman's approval. She's from Canada.
Shots
Shots fired!
Excuse me?
And she's
Excuse me?
Don't even worry about it. Considering she's
hanging
female...
out with Lawrence Krauss right now anyway, so we can hate.
Canadians approve of everything.
Well, is that look at this one. It's a woman, so it's 70 cents on the dollar. You take that after the exchange rate, it's just peanuts. It's not even worth asking
Yeah,
anymore.
Shuchin, think metric, all right?
Ooh. For those of you that are listening on the podcast right about now, yeah.
And I'm trying to get up the Q&A.
I'm sorry. I want to apologize. I was channeling Dave Foda.
Not good. Nope, not even.
I'm so going to pour a beer over that son of a bitch's head next time if I ever meet him.
And we might.
And it's going to
because-
be on Molson because I would not waste an expensive beer on. I wouldn't waste a good beer on something like that.
Well, if that's the case, I'll bring
There is
some
no-
Jenny Cream.
So you're fine.
There you go. And by the way, Joshi, hi. Thank you too. Seriously, it's always good to know that you guys are out there. So we will get around to all that stuff. Let me get around to dealing with our opening and we'll get it over here because the actual beginnings of everything.
Here we go.
What are you doing?
I'm
Bridget?
showing where I'm trying to contribute.
Oh, well, thank you. She was just showing us her date.
She's
Naked.
working, okay?
No,
Nice
I
to
put
meet
a
you,
link
bud.
and said, come ask us stuff.
Well, appreciate that. Anyway, let's. Katie. Yeah, we'll cover that in a second. Anyway, with
Joe, if you
apologies
want to
to.
state an opinion, just turn off your mic or on your microphone.
He's doing fine. He's doing fine. With apologies to Noe, Heath, and Lucinda from the Scathing Atheist, with 5 minutes on your clock, on my clock, somebody's clock. I don't know who it is. It's Gutenberg's clock. I don't give a. Your 5 minutes starts right now. Now, we've heard, and we are sick and tired and sick of hearing the most annoying apologetic known to man, bar none. Those three little words, were you there? Those of you that have heard several of the debates, most notably that have the name Matt Dillahunty in them, will have heard at some point or other the inane "were you there?" I don't have to be there in order to see the work of electrons at play, running back and forth between the atoms of copper wiring, maybe even if you've got an incredibly old house, aluminum wires. And yes, they used to use aluminum. Don't ask. It was a bad day. Really good for firehouses, though. But you want to ask, were you there? To try and figure out what works and what doesn't. For those of you that can't see very well or are listening on the audio set, what I hold in my hand right now is a matchstick. A good old-fashioned, simple hunk of wood with a head on it with material that you strike it on the outside of the box and it lights. Now, if I were to show you the second one that I brought with me, it's the same, except the very top of it is black. These guys are otherwise identical. And some of you can see it, and some of you can't, and my apologies for the video, because, you know, it's what I've got to work with. But if I said to you, what do you think happened that changed these two? These two sticks came from the same box, which means they came from the same manufacturer, which means they came from the same factory. They came from the same pieces of wood, most likely. They had the same chemicals. They are otherwise virtually identical to each other. But one of them, the top half is black. Knowing everything that you know about how life operates, how chemicals operate, how all of the rules of nature operate as we've understood them to date, what is the first conclusion that you're going to have? Now, were you there? Why is this an inane question to ask? Because it's stupid. Unless God itself were to come down and say, I'm changing the local gravitational constant of the universe, boom, it don't work any differently than this one match hasn't been used yet. And this one, what do you think? Seriously, it doesn't take, and please forgive me, Scott Manley, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out exactly what it is that's happened here. Except in this particular case, it does. I covered over this one with black Sharpie on 3/4 of it. You see in the video, it's still intact. So, yeah, you do have to have been there in order to have seen what happened. But if you had this in hand, you wouldn't have needed to be there. You could have looked at it yourself. You could have turned it yourself. You could have investigated it yourself. You could have tried striking this on the outside of the box and see, will it spark? Will it actually catch fire the way that it's supposed to? Do you need to be there? Absolutely not. Why? Because things work for a reason. And if you can't use reason, you got nothing to work with. Because if you don't have reason, anything that you say doesn't matter, because God did it, Sure, okay. How do you know? Were you there? Because last I checked, ain't nobody been there yet. Or at least, not in any way that they can show us that they were. But then again, the hell do we know? We only deal in stuff that we can measure.
Hey, shooting
Yeah, Chris.
must be great because no one ever comes back.
Amazing how that operates. Everybody, thank you for being with us. This is episode number 77. This is our, well, we kind of have glossed over this for quite a long time. This is effectively an AMA. Ask me anything. Ask away. Ask something. Because we really haven't done this in a long time. And it's, even though it's, some people would think of it as fluff, it really isn't. Because how often do you get the opportunity of doing an, well, there's a radio show called Ask an Atheist. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Ask an Atheist with Sam Mulvey. Hi, Sam. You want to come back again sometime? That'd be great. I'll ask again sometime soon. And not everybody gets the opportunity of saying, well, I'd really love to ask these questions, but I'm afraid to ask somebody. Or, I don't know an atheist. If you know more than 10 people, statistically, you probably don't know it yet. But that's okay. Anyway, real quickly on the Q&A, Katie was saying, by the way, Heretic Woman is having a blast. She isn't even missing us. Yeah, I know. I bet, right? Renee is over there. Hi, hun. And I don't know where Joshua went to, but that's okay. We'll come back to that in a little bit. So, really quickly, since Heretic Woman isn't here, anybody on the panel familiar with Rafe Badawi? You might have heard the name at some point or other. I'm sure we all are pretty much aware. And Dallin, since you're the current resident up north, best of your knowledge, have you heard anything on the CBC News or anything along those lines of Rafe coming over to Canada yet?
Not yet, sadly.
Which unfortunately means, as of the recording of the show, it has now been 3 years, 2 months, 6 days since he was unjustly incarcerated for thought crime, and we are still waiting for you, and we are still hoping. And of course, for the 5 countries that we're saying our hello to for having watched our show at some point, and I'm going to hurt myself a lot on these. I'm going to take them out of the order that I wrote them down on because it's going to be easier for me. For Denmark, ha. Sweden, hi. Canada, hello and bonjour. I know. I studied Spanish. Leave me alone. I know.
I'll interrupt you at this point and say you actually did better than most Canadians I know.
Well, I appreciate that.
And you forgot to say sorry.
Sorry.
I thought that I did.
Hey.
Okay, now this is where it gets to be a little hair-raising. Russia.
Oh, can I do that one?
If you can do it, please by all means, because I'm looking at it and I'm having a hard time of it.
Здравствуйте.
Thank you, because I was practicing it. I had Google voice it to me, and I'd be arsed if I could do it. Seriously, I
You
tried.
can also do Privyet,
Привет.
which means hi. It's informal.
Привет.
I'll take either one of those. Yeah, thank you. And this is the one that really hurt. Sri Lanka. If I'm looking at it correctly, and if you're watching and listening from Sri Lanka, my apologies Ayubhayvana. And I know I've completely butchered it. I am sorry. There was no phonetic pronunciation to go off of, and it was just really, really hard. And I try. Please recognize I try really, really hard to make that work. Anyway.
Don't worry, we'll send him to the Lions.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Hey, Sujin, I want to give you a heads up. My Russian accent sucks. Okay, and I'm going to admit that right now. Anybody who's from Russia watching will is nodding their head right now in agreement with me. Yeah, your accent sucks. And I came across a couple from Russia many years ago, and I gave them a standard formal greeting. My name, my introduction that included my name, and they gave a double take. And then they said in perfect English, they said, "You know Russian?" And I said, "Well, I know a little bit. I'm not very good at it." And they said, "Oh, well, you're doing great. That's better than most, and you tried." And so I told my sister about it, and she learned French and Italian. And she said she had met people from France and from Italy, and they had similar responses. And what it turns out is when a lot are from talking with other friends that have learned other languages and talked to other people parts of the world, the general consensus is when we put forth the effort as stereotypical Americans to learn these other languages and try to use them properly, they give us a lot of credit. Because, the stereotype outside of our American borders is that we're lazy, we don't give a damn, we don't even try. And so, it changes the viewpoint. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Sure, you may not get them perfect, but I guarantee you there's a lot of the people that are watching, the fact that you're even trying, I bet they appreciate it.
Well, I would hope so. And if somebody would like to go ahead and chime in on it, this is one of the few times I'm actually remembering I should really plug it. Please feel free to send an email over to podcast@holycrapthevlogcast.com. That'd be really nice. It'd be nice to get our first one that isn't some automated message from the security system saying, "Hey, you wanna check on this for us?" That would be really nice. And of course, if you
that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be really good.
That's interesting. There you go. Anybody who's watching this, if you're from a country other than America, even if we've done your greeting before, send us an email with your introduction, your thoughts on the show, maybe, anything that you might want to say, and also your the greeting that's native to your country, or maybe a sub county or providence or whatever the case might be for your demographic, and if you can include the English phonetics of it so that we can better learn it, that would be fantastic.
That would actually be really cool. We can certainly see about that.
Yeah, or even a sound clip of the greeting would be great.
Yep.
Just don't say it too fast. Say it a little bit slow because some people like me are very slow.
Yes, that's quite true. Okay, so
where's my white helmet?
I'll see what we can do about that. Anyway, a couple quick pieces of information. As of about half an hour ago, my tiny Tribble has now crossed officially into the teens. She is now 13. Actually, in 20 minutes or so, she will officially be a teenager.
Happy birthday, Tribble.
Yeah.
Or tiny Tribble.
Very, very happy to you. So if you'd like to send birthday greets, send those tweets. That's fine. August 23rd. Don't send them 3 years after the fact, because just remember this is 2015 right now. And for those of you that haven't gotten it yet, it's 2015. Don't do 2000. You just give it up. It's 2015. It was 1980. You can get used to it again. Don't worry about it. You just work from there. So, first question I wanna pose off to you guys, because I know how much this is gonna be fun, and I wish there was a way that I could do a video side by side for Dallin and Joey right about now. Dallin and Joey, here's my question. Did you ever think that you would find out that Australia was not just creepier than we imagined, but that it was creepier than we could have imagined?
I've always been one who believed that no matter how big you are, no matter how bad you are, no matter how tough you are, there's always something out there above you. And just when you're right, just when no, Tech, this got worse. I know what he's referring to, and all I will say is, yeah, I now have even less reason to visit, as much as I want to go, because there's so many cool things there that I want to, explore. I want to discover. I want to meet people. I just don't want to have to use the bathroom anytime soon.
Oh, no.
2 words, folks.
Whoa. Hold on.
No, actually, you know what? I will let you do it. I will defer to you because it was you're the one that discovered it.
You went ahead and went there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sum up my response in simply four words. There are toilet frogs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. In my confusion, my brow has suddenly fused my 2 eyebrows together. Can you please explain so I can get them apart again?
We do, Joey and Dallin and I, along with a past host, Witchy Bunny, we do a thing on Friday nights. It's a morning zoo at night kind of thing, a TGIF kickoff, and we have we typically include a list that we get from things like crack.com or something like that, and Joey found this particular list. It was all about Australia, wasn't it?
Not everything about Australia. We've done plenty of lists on Australia because Australia is just such a fun place.
It is amazing.
This one
But-
had some less common things to discuss.
Yeah.
Yes, and one of the things that we found out was that on this particular list of like some of the creepiest things, scariest things, the things that like you don't ever want to have to deal with, it had, and Joey backed me up on this one, as he described it, it had a single line item: toilet frogs.
There are toilet frogs.
With no further explanation whatsoever. It was just item number 4,
Well,
toilet
no, it
frogs.
had an explanation, but just the title of that particular segment, the subtitle of that particular segment was, and I quote, "There are toilet frogs." And the thing that I suppose tickled him so much is that, we don't just come up with one list for each night. I usually get a whole handful, and then I will read the title of the list and then the first half of the list's subtitles to give the crew an idea of what's on the list, to decide whether or not we want to use that list or not. And we got started on this one, and the very first item, I started going through it very nonchalantly. There are toilet frogs, blah, 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 and she had me stop and back up and actually cut the music off in order to clarify what was going on, because he did a double take and Witchy Bunny did a spit take.
And basically it comes down to there are frogs that will end up finding their way if you leave your door open, apparently.
Simply enough, it gets very dry during the summer down there in the northern parts, and the local lakes and rivers tend to dry up, and so the frogs will head for the nearest standing water source they can find, considering that's how they survive, and quite often that happens to be someone's loo. And no, we're not talking about poisonous frogs or deadly frogs. We're just talking about you going to the crapper in the middle of the night, in the dark, sitting down, and all of a sudden you feel a big slimy plop against your bottom.
Or hear a ribbit as
If they're not
Well,
poisonous
hey,
or
to be fair,
dangerous,
Fair.
I
As happened
fail
to
to
one of my
see how
colleagues.
these are worse than those spiders.
How would you like it if you were chilling out at some place and all of a sudden in the middle of the night some guy just shows up, drops trow, and drops a load right on top of your head? I don't think you'd be too happy, now would you?
Well, if I'm not in Germany, yeah, I'd be pretty pissed off.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. First
Well,
off,
there goes our
if
German
I'm
listener.
going into some other person's
one that said
house and they do that to me, I'm going to imagine, well, at least they didn't kill me.
Some people pay for that shit.
Quite
Speaking
literally.
from experience
Thank you
there,
ever so
Joseph?
much. Golf
But
clap.
you know,
Thank you. Thank you.
the really interesting part of that night was this sounded like a claim. And of course, what do skeptics do when they hear a claim? They
Research.
go, yes. So the research came in the form of one Nick Morganmore. That's his name. So
I love
Tech,
that guy.
yeah, so Tech, get this. We bring Nick Morganmore into a Second Life DJ show.
Oh, he must have had a
no.
trip.
Well, he actually verified that there are, in fact, toilet frogs.
He tweeted me a goddamn picture.
Yeah,
of
which
one
was
of
actually
these.
really cute. Is this little green tree frog up above the rim? Hi-ho!
There, dude, there's nothing cute about anything that has to do with the toilets. Come on.
At least it wasn't a snake.
Well, that's actually where I was going with this.
God damn it.
Oh, shit. God damn
He was
it.
telling he was telling me about a friend of his who, well, he sat down, did what he did, and he opened up the door to get out, and there was a brown snake outside the door. These are the ones that they just look at you funny and you're dead. So he jumps. How did he say this? He jumped onto the toilet, from the toilet to his washing machine.
Yep.
From his washing machine to a cabinet, opened up the cabinet, got his gun, and you'd think he'd shot the snake, right? No. He emptied all 6 rounds into the toilet, shattering it and scaring the snake away. Because it was easier for him to hit the toilet than it was to hit the snake.
If the snake's not moving, that's an easy target.
You would think.
Actually, I
it would-
believe the snake was in fact in the toilet.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was a matter that he was going to go to, and there it was, and suddenly, boom, there you are. All right, so here's the question, everybody. Do we really want to go ahead and go to Australia? Do we really want to go ahead and do this? I'm thinking, unless I can get my car to, skip across the water from Southern California all the way to New Zealand, I don't think so. No, not again. If I knew now, if I knew then what I know now about Australia, I don't think Fujin and I would have gone. Well, I mean, it was just Sydney, so it wasn't that bad. I don't know that we really want to go. Do we want to go and do a live remote in Sydney, Manly Harbor? Really? Do we want to do that?
I want to go.
I'd be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Well, Bridget, you want to go because the guys are. They've got a nude beach over there. You just want to see the guys. Am I the only one on the video that saw the wiggle that just happened right there? I'm not the only one that saw that, right? You guys aren't even bothering to pay attention.
Hey,
You had me at nude beach, Eugene.
yeah.
Doesn't really help.
I like kangaroos. And I like men with cute accents.
I'm still not going to Australia because they have the world's most aggressive and deadly spider in one tiny little package that can pierce leather. Not a chance in hell.
Let me buy you a first-class ticket to Brazil.
No.
But I've realized that everything in Australia wants to kill you, but they have really nice scenery.
Some of you know.
I'd rather go visit Japan with the radiation there. You know.
No. Well, let's see. In Japan, you've got those lovely hornets that are
Oh, yeah.
yay big.
Yeah. And they'll actually shoot their venom at you.
Yeah,
And,
well, see, that's when you get the electric fly swatter.
but hey,
Something tells me that you hit them with one of those that kind of look at you and go, yeah.
Australia is not alone. We don't think there's anything weird here in North America or most of Europe because our lineage has made contact with many different species in these 2 continents many times over. They're familiar to us. You go to Australia, yeah, there's a bunch of weird crap. You go to South America, there's a bunch of weird crap. You go to Asia, you know what? Australia, poisonous everything.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey,
Brazil, mostly poisonous everything.
Joe,
That's
And iguana noodle soup.
Yeah. At least, you know, yeah.
Hornets the size of a nightmare. Madagascar, the world's only vegan spider.
Okay, that I can deal with.
But we have drive-by shootings.
I was going to say, at least in Australia, the poisonous critters aren't running for office.
This is true too.
Well, at least not.
Shots fired.
They do. They do have Tony Abbott though.
Actually, we had established on the list last night that they have just as many douchebags running for office as we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for those of you that have been paying attention to the Imaginary Friend Show .com podcast, yes, that's a plug for you guys. The last couple of episodes, you might want to go back about 10 episodes back. So, 260? You go from like 265 forward to like 270, 280 or so. Yeah, you'll start to hear a lot about Tony Abbott and some other guys, and it's not complimentary at all. It's really not. You guys remember about Ford, the mayor from Toronto? Yeah, no.
You mean the one that you never let me hear the end of?
No. We haven't talked about it. Look, if we're going to go ahead and talk about anybody, we've got the Amish Wolverine we talk about all the time. But at least with Ford, it was there. It was a flash. It's done. He's gone. That's it. Nobody's even thinking about it anymore. These guys are still in freaking office and continuing to get, elected. Shit.
Do I really need to list off the 16 that made total idiots of you guys on TV there a few weeks ago?
No, it was.
I don't say idiots of themselves because, well, they're too stupid to realize that they're making idiots of themselves. But I gotta say, as an outsider, if this is what I get to see of another country, if I'm say like over the pond or whatever, and I'm like, oh gee, what's going on in America? What the hell is this? Like, guys.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you this.
That's what the foreign press is wondering. Der Spiegel is like.
Yep. And unfortunately, I was trying to get Jake earlier tonight to talk to the little one to wish her happy birthday, and he chimed in on Skype just a couple of moments ago. It's like, yeah, I've got time. I sent that message like 2 hours. Time zones. How the hell do they work?
Invite them on the show.
I will. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that. I'm going to mute my microphone for a couple of moments so I can type. I'm also going to free up the camera so that you guys can toss it over. You know what? Joseph, you have been all kinds of quiet suddenly, so I'm throwing the reins over your way, and you get to direct things for a couple of moments while I'm quiet and try to figure out what the hell is going on for myself. So I'll be back in a moment while I type and mute out my microphone.
That's it. Push me to the front of the class.
You're the smart one.
Did anything interesting happen in France this week?
Nope. I wouldn't know.
I thought it was good when the mundane is good news.
I actually found out about this after the show last night. Otherwise, I would have put it up there.
Oh?
What?
What Katie is touching on. Got a Moroccan got onto a train, a Kalashnikov, a knife, and a automatic pistol.
Holy shit.
I saw that.
Where?
Well, there is actually information on that. Give me a moment, and I will go ahead and find it.
That's right. That was just a couple of days ago.
If you go on Reddit, it's in like the top 10, top 15
I don't go
right
on
now on
friggin'
stuff.
Reddit.
Dude, I hear about things I get more up-to-date news on Reddit than I get on the damn television.
Fork.com also had something. Let me Google foo. Or let me go to Fork.
Reddit. Come on. No,
And I'll get you a link.
I've got the information. BBC World News.
Well, while he's looking that
France.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Give me a minute. This happened on a high-speed phallus service near Arras. On
Phallus, not phallus.
say that again.
No,
Kinda
no.
looks
As a matter
like
of fact,
that.
don't.
We were saying something about annoying frogs, I believe.
Yes.
Oh.
In any case, a 26-year-old Moroccan man was arrested. One of the Americans involved said he took an AK-47 and a handgun from the individual. It was 2 Americans that restrained him. Both of them, according to this, former Marines. No.
Yeah, they were both
Air
former military or former military.
No, Air Force and National Guard, respectively. So, my bad. I had a different article on this earlier, and misinformation. Go figure. But former members of the Air Force and National Guard. One was injured by a knife wound. A passenger had been injured by gunshot. Nobody was killed, but the 2 Americans subdued the man until he could be arrested at the destination.
One American that helped subdue the man was not military, just a concerned American. But one of the things that Joe hasn't brought up yet was that one of the military men that was injured ignored his own injuries after the man was subdued to help the passerby who was injured in the neck and bleeding out. So he ignored his own injuries to stop the bleeding of just some random person who got injured in the process.
Mm.
And, you know, one would think that any of us, one would hope at least, that any of us would do the same damn thing. I mean, my injuries are not that bad, and if I do nothing, that guy looks like he could potentially die. It's a pretty much a slam dunky for me. But again, I wouldn't have the kind of training to do quick on-the-spot triage, I guess is basically what it comes down to. Joe, these are military guys. You guys get at least some real quick ideas as to how to deal with a traumatic injury.
Well, yeah, that's one of our core, I suppose you could call it core curriculum in the military. I mean, basic first aid is a must. It's in our basic training. And any soldier that you see out in the field has on his person a small first aid kit, complete with everything from gauze to the little coagulating pads, the ones that you slap on there and they soak up blood and kind of stick to the skin. They're kind of a pain to get back off, but it's still better than the old cauterizing agents that we used to have, where you tear open these 2 packets and sprinkle them on the wound, and yeah, that no.
I can see that being a little nasty.
You imagine how good it feels.
Yeah.
No.
Let's be honest. I mean, if you've got a wound like that, you slap something on there that's supposed to keep guy from dying out. Pulling it off afterwards is probably one of those things you're really not thinking too heavily about, and
Not that. That's actually really cool. I'm talking about the stuff we used before that.
Oh yeah, well yeah, there you go.
The stuff that you sprinkle on an open wound and pretty much burn the wound shut.
Yeah, let's not think about that. All right, let's go with something a little bit better. As far as to
Wait, hold on. Katie's saying that there was also somebody, a British person, who also assisted the 3 of them.
yeah, just see that over there.
Yeah, there were 3 or 4 people of various nationalities that helped subdue this guy and render him unconscious. He'd got on the train with the Kalashnikov knife and handgun and enough ammunition to take out most of the train.
Sorry.
Which was
I'm looking at one of the comments from where I first saw this news bit, and one of the comments is he's got this it's this GIF from some movie, I don't know what it is, but they've gone ahead and subtitled it with, "Was getting knocked the fuck out part of your plan?"
Jesus.
So I gotta ask at this point because Joseph's in France. How does it feel to now have arguably one of the most dangerous railways outside of New York City now?
Can you really come to that conclusion?
Yes, I'm going to do that because as a native New Yorker, yes, I'm going to
He
go ahead
didn't
and
even
drop
know
that
about
right
it.
now.
You clearly have never been to
No, but I've been in Code World since 2 weeks now, and I just read about it now, so I'm better informed. Yeah, this kind of thing doesn't happen very often here. I mean, like in New York City, you've got something like that every night, maybe.
Sometimes, all right. Yeah, Bernie gets. Some people don't get the reference, and congratulations, you're freaking young, child.
I'm just as old as you are, sir.
Really, I don't need this. I really don't need this. People.
Yeah, but I've not seen anything yet on what the motivation for wanting to shoot a train full of innocent people was, or why.
Yeah, there's no. The full story hasn't come out yet. That's what I saw.
Yeah, we'll still get the rest of that eventually. So I've got somebody who's sending me a couple of messages.
Up, by the way. Sorry.
I've got some people who are chatting up with me outside of the Hangout at the moment, and one person has made mention, and I'm not naming names, so I never do that. If you're outside of it all, don't worry about it. Who's basically said, I'm kind of new to the whole thing. I really don't know what to expect, so I don't know what to even ask. So I'm gonna actually use that as a springboard at this point and say you know what, Bridget, you are basically our newest recruit to the whole damn thing. So I'm gonna throw it for you at this point.
Uh-oh.
No, it's okay. What would you tell someone to explain what is a show like this, or specifically the show? What's it really about? I mean, what should somebody be expecting out of this?
I've been on this panel for how long, and I still don't know.
I still don't know.
Topic.
We talk about stuff, and it's all kinds of different stuff, and there's no telling what you're going to get week after week, because sometimes it's serious stuff and sometimes it's fun stuff. And I kind of like it because it's not scripted. And some people like heavily scripted things. Ask an Atheist is extremely scripted, but they have to be because they do have commercial breaks and things like that, and they have a very strict hour format that they have to be on. And we just kind of wing it.
Well, I want to kind of take that one over for a second. Ask an Atheist it has blocks of time. It's not, quote unquote, heavily scripted the same way that, for example, The Scathing Atheist is heavily scripted.
It doesn't have that kind of a thing, but it does have to be very planned out because it is broadcast.
That's true.
So they have a lot stricter format than we have. And they have to, and they've been doing it for, 10, 11, 12 years? It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Let's just say that we can talk about things here without putting too much importance on appeals to popularity and what the authorities are saying. We're just, we can talk about it amongst ourselves. Yeah, we're not,
And we don't we don't have the limitations that the Atheist Experience in Austin has, because they're on public access TV, so they also have to keep theirs to a strict
Not for long. What I
yeah, that's true. Things are in a flux, there, and right now they don't have a studio, and we have to wait and see what's going to happen in the show. But for about 13 years, they've been on public access, or they had been, and had to stick to a strict time schedule.
Which, when they went from 90 minutes to 1 hour, that was annoying as all hell. I remember hearing the audio version, and that hurt. Mm-hmm. They were really annoyed about that, but they made do. Yeah, and they did good, and collectively, more power to you guys, and good luck out there in Austin. You guys are heavy duty inspiration to a lot of us. Thank you guys. Now that I'm done kissing ass, let's see what's going on over here in the Q&A.
Yeah, we did have a question there.
Oh wow, really?
Joey.
Oh God, really? Okadok. So, Joseph?
What?
Boxers or briefs? Joseph?
I'm assuming they're asking him because
yes.
Listen to Pete.
Yes.
Commando.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your new radio station, WTMI.
Well, it is Ask Me Anything.
Yes, it is. Dallin?
I thought the hashtag was TMI Tuesday.
No, that's Haiku Tuesday. It's TMI Thursday.
It's not even at this point. Just roll with it, dude.
You can usually tell boxers are briefed by the tone of the voice, I'm wearing briefs.
Well, okay. Based on that, Renee, what do you think?
Wow. Am I the only one that's really creeped out right now? I don't.
If you bring us toilet frogs, I'm sorry, the gloves are off.
No, the boxers are off.
You said you weren't wearing any anyway.
It's Agent's fault because he's like, somebody asked questions, so.
Just something glad this camera only captures me from here up. Like Mozart.
This is just great. Now I got to go looking through all this stuff and try to figure out what the hell am I going to do to salvage all this. And I'm thinking, you know what? What?
There was no point.
Yeah, why were they asking me specifically?
Why not?
I'm wondering why they're asking me.
Omelette du fromage.
Is that
You know, Joseph. Here's the answer, and this may get us some kind of a red flag over in England. And Chris, you can kind of help me out here. Tell me, would this get us a red flag?
Frogs wear underwear?
No. Why would somebody be asking this specifically, or more specifically of you? I'll be arsed if I know. I can get away with saying that one, right? That works, right? All right, that's good. So there's your answer, Joseph. I'll be arsed if I know. How's that?
Okay.
There you go.
The Q&A is still open.
Exactly. Here in the U.S., in Canada, you know what? You guys don't even know what the hell's going on at this point. Don't even worry about it. It's fine. But trust me, the rest of the English-speaking world, they know exactly what I just said, and we just went to a PG-13 rating right there.
No, we didn't. Boxers and briefs is not. I mean, you can say that on G.
No, that's when he said "arsed if I know."
Oh.
That's when the ratings took a turn towards power of 10.
No, only in the UK and Australia.
Is that
really not here either?
Come on.
All right, you know what? Fine.
You've had an entire hour to ask us anything, and all you've come up with is boxers and briefs.
Somebody's got to.
It's kind of funny in England.
Well, wait a minute, we got another one.
Ooh.
We got another question.
Ooh. All right. Now this.
Or hot dogs and why?
I didn't.
Are we trying to? Are we trying to imply something here, or?
You know, I was actually thinking, like, right there, my mind kind of went to a really bad place.
I'm going with tacos.
Tacos and hot dogs are complimentary.
For those of you listening to the podcast version of this, the smirk on Joseph's face was
It's like Ray Comfort's hand in the banana, you know?
oh god.
I don't want to know what he is doing with his hand around his banana.
This is totally all over again. Just when you think you couldn't get any lower, we find a new level.
This is like digging in Minecraft, man. We're just going straight through the floor into the void. Oh my god. Why the hell did I start this whole damn thing again? I don't even know anymore.
We have to go deeper.
We have, and here is
all the way.
Yes.
Are we going deeper on a hot dog or deeper on taco?
Well, we'll get to that in a second. The one that I had clicked on.
Who ordered the fit long?
The one. Oh God. The one that I had clicked on for the Q&A from about Katie. I'd like to commend Betty Bowers, bless her heart, for referring to the Duggars as the Cardassians of Christ.
Oh, good one.
Okay,
There are a lot of people out there that would think of that as a compliment.
This is such a train wreck, though. It's so glorious.
All right,
you hear about the newscaster who walked off the stage because he just got fed up with talking about the Kardashians?
Well, you know what? We need to leave the Kardashians aside for a second because there's a news report that had come out very recently through this week that we need to hit. We really need to hit really quickly. The Duggar family, who famously were part of 19 Kids and Counting on TLC, was it again? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Their entire family and the show imploded because one of the sons was playing nasty doctor games with some of the other Sibs. The only saving grace, if you can even call it that, was that it wasn't one of his other brothers, it was his sisters. And I'm using this very carefully.
I wouldn't say that's a saving grace at all, Shujin.
Like I said,
he was being
sarcastic.
Yes. Sarcasm. Look it up. Dictionary.com.
Stop. So, Chris, go ahead and hit me because I richly deserve it on this one. I do.
Yeah, I'd say maybe there was sarcasm I missed there, but he was. I don't think there's any need to sugarcoat it with doctor games or whatever. This was a really nasty situation where he was basically molesting his younger siblings and other children. Happened when he's 14 or 15. The guy himself, Josh, has been raised in an incredibly weird, abusive environment on there. So whether
a weird environment it's presented as
whether and that's been presented as a model. So whether the guy, and this happened when he was 14 or 15, deserves as much flack as he's got, I don't know. I think a lot more of it should be focused on the parents and the environment that he was raised in, because of that shit is just not right.
Yeah. Now here's the thing of it all. He was molesting his sisters. It was covered up by the police when the reports were coming through. The family is in disarray because they lost money because their show was pulled by TLC because of bad press, and rightly so. And now we have word that they are looking to they're shopping out a show where the family would be counseling families, individuals, people who were sexually molested, and this is so many levels of horrific, well above and beyond the scope of anything the Kardashians could have possibly come up with. And I will go ahead and I will say, this is a bad idea. This is I couldn't even tell you what level of bad irony this is all about, because this is just so wrong.
I have just one
It's like
question
going to
about
a
that.
rapist to ask for dating tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
In that thing, who made the report? I don't know that yet.
which report do you mean?
The Duggars. Who reported it to the police? How did they get wind of it?
It was the people from Oprah Winfrey's show.
How did they find out about it?
That I'm not sure.
The thing is that something like this,
Hmm.
it can never permanently stay a secret.
Yeah. Well,
Unless everybody involved dies long before it comes out.
Now it gets even better because there was a extramarital dating site where the information ended up getting hacked out, and lo and behold, but who was listed as being part of that site and having an account and the whole thing?
well, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And who was it, Joseph? Go ahead, tell us who was it.
Oh, our favorite Doug Duggar.
Yeah.
So this entire family is so dysfunctional, it's not even funny.
And you know, the hilarious part, well, I guess I could say the most predictable part of this was as soon as I saw on Facebook that this guy just gotten busted for being on that site, I was counting the days until he would come out and say, I was bad, I'm a hypocrite, I was tempted. Oh, by the way, my southern accent, I'm just using it for effect. This is by no means a dig at anyone with that accent.
It's okay.
I was low, the devil was in me, but now I found Jeebus, and everything is fine. And what happens less than a week later? He played the redemption card.
Yep.
And I just
Not only that, but now his wife
yeah.
is taking some of the blame for that.
Oh.
Because
That
she was not sensitive enough to his needs or something and should have supported him more or he wouldn't have strayed. Because it's always the
But the thing
woman's
is,
fault.
did he stray? I mean, just because you're on a website, does that mean you actually went through with it?
He indicated that he had been unfaithful.
Okay. Like I said, all I caught was the whole thing about him being a hypocrite. And last night we caught a little bit of flack about that, about this whole thing, saying, like we really shouldn't be ganging up on him and everything like that.
No, he was led to cheat because he had this addiction to pornography because of, Satan or something, and so mistakes were made. It was the most passive admission I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I had a
then to
discussion
find out that she said his wife was like, well, I'm not ever going to divorce him. And then it's like, well, actually, it was probably her fault because she wasn't meeting his needs or this would have happened. But she has stayed pregnant constantly the whole time that they've been married.
Which is probably why he probably wanted, one night without consequence.
Actually, what he was asking for was pretty vanilla, which is pretty sad. And he wanted someone to teach him because she has been so sheltered. She's probably not, and he's sheltered
I've
too.
no idea. I've not seen any breakdown from him of what specifically he was looking for.
Massages, someone good with their hands, someone who wanted bubble baths, someone who could teach him things.
I just hired a stripper.
But he's so sheltered he does not know. And she is too.
I'm sure he could have gone
take
to
one trip to D.C. and spend a weekend there. He would have learned a whole lot of things.
and I'm sure there are
Just ask
plenty,
any of the politicians
there's
who
got to be
had
plenty of
Ashley accounts.
and I was going to say that there's got to be plenty of listings over on, Craigslist for, I don't know, cougars somewhere.
Yeah, but Ashley Madison was supposed to be discreet. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was until they were using shit security. By the way, Josh has also chimed in and said, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say it because it was posted to us. Is, you know what? I will hold off on what was said only because once I say it, it's out there and it will be forever. And
Yeah.
I would much rather wait a minute and find out if that is actually what Joshi would like on the record.
I can say something
Joshi-
similar on the record from my experiences.
Because of the situation, I would rather that you did not. Only because if Joshi says it's okay, I'll be more than willing to go and continue on with it. But until we I get an okay on this, I don't want to. I know I'm probably going to have to do some serious editing on the video, and forgive me, anybody that is listening or watching and is kind of wondering just the hell is going on. Please understand, if I'm going ahead and I'm kicking back and I'm saying, you know what, I want to wait a minute. Please understand, there's probably a good and there's a good damn reason, and there's a thing, and I'm watching the Q&A really quickly to try and figure out what might have happened.
We could maybe use a bit of clarification as well, Shujin, because we've touched on quite a number of points, and I didn't see exactly when that question came in.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
I don't exactly know what the issue is.
And I wouldn't want to cover it and get it wrong.
yeah, and I do have a green light on this one, so I will go ahead and say what it was that was written up. Joshi had sent in here, as a victim of molestation and rape, I'm absolutely appalled and horrified to hear that, meaning the show that they're trying to sell out there for counseling people who have been molested, raped, or that kind of thing. Again, it's another one of these situations where, and it's the big target we can hit. The Catholic Church saying that they're going to go ahead and they're going to investigate everything that comes their way because, we can take care of it. We've got the funding and we've got the money. We've got the data. It's what's the expression? Putting the fox in the hen house, I believe it is.
I don't want to weigh in a too serious way, but I mean, this is exactly what happens when you have no sexual education mixed with sexual taboo. Because I mean, these instincts, as we call them, we should learn to train these, and they're doing the polar opposite.
Yeah.
They're just they leave these base instincts that are almost hardwired in us from the start that we can train. They just leave them intact and just shelter us from any view or any from seeing anything sexual. So of course, when we're exposed to it, with our instincts still intact, we're going to react in certain ways that we almost have no control over because we never learned how to control it.
Yeah.
So, this is a prime example of what not to do, or the Douglas parents, their parenting.
The other thing too, like even if the show was green lighted, just because, or any kind of show like this, today on TLC we're going to have a show that we're going to counsel rape and molestation victims. No! You don't put a camera in a room like that where people are already messed up as it is, and now you're going to shove a camera in their face while they're telling their story?
Because ratings!
And,
Yeah, okay.
And it also goes back to
quote
what
the mayor of
Keegan
my
was
city.
saying.
Yeah, to quote the mayor of my city, I have words about those ratings. I have lots of words, but I can't use them. Now, in the mayor's case, it was because his press agent said it would have been a bad idea. For me, we're still a few shows away before I can really cut loose like that.
Yes, and once that comes up, for those of you that don't know, every 10 episodes, our power of 10, that is our time to kick out and just say, no rules, let's go.
Yeah,
It's kind of like our version of having Nick Morganmore all over the place.
Yeah, speaking of Nick, if his joke is still fresh in my mind at that show, oh my god, that one's coming out in some kind of context.
Yeah, and Joey is basically saying, don't do that.
However, have confirmation now.
Oh.
Kim.
What do you have confirmation of, Joe?
Kim's trying to pull a fast one on us. Because her question isn't just what it reads. I was right.
Well, yeah.
Okay, let me really quickly explain. Kim had put a question out, and we kind of hit it before, but let me do it correctly at this point. Question for all: tacos or hot dogs, and why? I'm gonna.
Why are we even addressing this?
Because it was
Because there's
asked,
nothing else.
anything. Which really should have waited until the power of 10 so that we can properly respond to a anything sort of.
Yeah, I've got things going through my head that I partly replied to. But anyway.
Yeah.
But you know what she's asking.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer it straight. I will eat either because in both cases they are completely unkosher no matter how you slice it. Because
Hey,
if I do it right,
tacos are kosher.
meat and cheese? No, you can't do that.
Oh, cheeseless taco.
Hot dogs are only kosher if you have the tip off.
Because meat and dairy. That's right.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, a hot dog technically does not qualify as meat. I know, but I'm going on to the technicality of it all.
And if you want to get more technical, it's meat that's been cooked in the milk of its mother.
Ooh, which means chicken fingers are in. Or is that out? I
But
don't
what
even
if
know.
it's cooked in another mother's milk and not its own?
Yeah.
Well, that's just German kinky. We're really not going to do that.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, the milk and meat is ex-nay. For example, if chicken and eggs, can't have that.
We're talking about this.
Which I'm a many times senator because one of my favorite little dishes, very simple little dish, but we used to have this little old lady in Korea when we'd go out on field exercises. It would always be somebody local, but in every town we went to that had field exercise near it, there was always, some little old lady in that town that came out and set up a tent right outside the FTX area, and she'd cook. And you could, bring your money, which, a little bit of won, and buy food rather than eating, either mess hall crap that was dragged out there or MREs. And I have to say, picture this. Grilled cheese sandwich with a fried egg and pulled chicken.
My husband would eat that.
Sounds good.
Okay.
It's a heart attack sandwich, but
The only thing you're missing at that point is poutine, and apparently Red Robin is now selling poutine in their stores. So that's not an endorsement. It's just apparently a statement of fact because it came through on my Twitter feed. Yes, food is good. Nothing to do with food. A question came through from John, and by the way, thank you. First time I recognize your name, I believe. John is asking, when was the last time television came out with a good idea? Canceling the rebooted Knight Rider, I believe, was probably one of the best that I can think of.
No. That doesn't count because it was a bad idea to reboot it from the start.
Well, no.
I have a perfect answer to that question.
Oh, this ought to be this. I would love to hear this.
Ready?
Dude.
The reboot of Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Mic drop. There we're done. We're done.
There it is. Yep. Yeah, and disclosure, my grandpa was in one scene, so
Cool.
in the original.
Oh wow.
He was Noah?
No. My grandfather was
I am
in,
still meeting people who've seen the originals, the one with your grandfather in it, but did not know that there was a reboot.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay, so yeah, my grandfather was fishing in Brooklyn, and the film crew came through, and they said, "We'd like to give you a little bit of money. We just want you to just keep doing what you're doing. Don't turn around. Keep fishing." Okay, that's what I was going to do anyway. So every once in a while, the scene where he went back to Brooklyn, and he goes out to the pier and gets a hot pretzel. My grandpa's in there. From the back, you really can't see him, but it's really good. But coming up with a good idea. You know, I really have to say that continuing. I can't say redoing. Continuing Cosmos, yeah, that's really badass. I haven't finished it yet. I really, really want to.
Wow.
I watched every episode the day they aired, and I just sat there.
Nice.
And even though I knew some of the science that he was talking about on many of the episodes, the presentation of it was just had me in awe.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing.
It's not just that. He's an excellent storyteller. He can go from point to point to point and keep your interest the entire way through. And that also means that the writers also deserve credit, and the people who did the animations and everything, the whole team, not just Neil deGrasse Tyson, but everybody that had a part in it. Thank you so much. It was beautiful.
And I read somewhere not too long ago that there could very well be a second season coming.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, there's no lack of topic matter to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, after all, we're talking about the universe.
Yeah.
And who the hell knows how far that's going to be? I mean, all we've gotten so far is that it's big. No, really, it's big.
Yeah. Or if you listen to George Hrod, this stuff is far.
It's
like Jamie far.
It is very Jamie. Thank you. I was trying to remember. You don't know what we're talking about? Go look up on YouTube. Far George Hrab. H-R-A-B.
Yes.
Hrab.
Excellent song.
It is great.
Remember that you're standing on a planet that's evolving.
No,
Evolving
don't,
at 900 miles an hour.
Don't do that. Don't do that. We don't want a copyright hit. So they will do that. They'll do that shit to us.
That's what it is to be DMCA'd by that.
Yeah. And how ironic that would be, wouldn't it be?
Guys, I'll be right back. My browser's crashing.
Okay, we'll catch you back in a minute. So anyway, I'm gonna kind of take a page from something that was over in the Q&A, although I'm not gonna put it officially in there. The Quiverful movement was made reference to in the Q&A. I'm not gonna touch on it really quickly, but who wants to mention it quickly and how disgusting it really is? Bridget, you've got a uterus. Go ahead. You tell us how disgusting this is.
Wow.
It is really, really warped. I don't know how much the audience would be familiar with this, but the reference to Quiverful comes from a Bible verse. I cannot remember the verse off the top of my head. I can Google it real quick.
Doesn't matter.
But what the women do is they have as many children as possible to be an army for God. There is a verse in the Bible that references, blessed is the man who has, an arrow full of quivers or something like that, and the children are the arrows. And the highest honor that a woman can have in that movement is to die in childbirth. They do not practice any kind of of any birth control at all. and they do try to stay constantly pregnant, have as many children as possible. That's why the Duggars have 19 kids. I mean, that is part of their lifestyle. The women have no control over their reproductive life or anything like that. The daughters are property of the father, and the property is transferred to her husband when she gets married. She has no say so in anything. Women are chattel.
Yeah, I want to hit Chris and Joseph in a second. Chris, the quiverful movement, I don't recall off the top of my head if there have been reports out England ways. I know that you guys don't necessarily get all of whatever the latest stuff would be news-wise, but can you recall hearing anything about that movement in your neck?
No. On there, it probably there's probably some existence of it. Not that I've seen in the major news, but we've not put any of them on as sort of reality TV shows. So I don't know what the situation is over here, but yeah, it's absolutely sort of warped, going straight back to sort of Bronze Age values of women are only sort of have any value for producing children, which are the property of the father, and there's specifically in the Duggars case, I'm not on there. There's absolutely no value placed on sort of sexual consent for the women, and it's just one of the most warped and twisted models of a family that's come out this side of the Bronze Age.
Yeah, I gotta touch on that one in a second.
Well,
Joseph?
The other thing I'd like to add on that too, though, is like the girls that were molested did not even have the ability to say no because they were under the authority of the males in the household.
Yeah, there you go. Joseph, same thing for you. As far as the quiverful movement, to the best of your knowledge, I don't think, again, there are any kind of news things that come out in your area either.
Not news things. It's kind of underground here. It's reserved for the more fervently Catholic families. I mean, when I was traveling in mid-France, I saw some things that are kind of scary. Like they have a scout troop, a brand of scouts that's run by the Catholics, and you'll see trainfuls of kids, blonde hair, blue eyes. It's kind of scary. And only people like that, the more extreme Catholics. But you won't see any of those in Paris.
Yeah, Joey, just a couple of seconds, because I mean, Joey and I were both brought up Catholic at first, so
Don't remind me.
yeah. But unfortunately, there's a thing, and I can kind of remember, and I want to hit you on this one too, specifically because I think you probably would, that the Catholics, generally speaking, you're supposed to accept whatever God throws your way as far as family is concerned, and even though it wasn't necessarily as the
That's why
quiverful-
there's no contraceptive allowed, because the only time you should be having any kind of relations is for the product of procreation.
The whole thing is designed to make more believers, because if you spend your adolescence in complete sexual frustration and sexual ignorance, well, you're going to rush into marriage so that you can, get some nookie, and you're going to have little believers if you're going to believe that. So,
I could get into the historical background of that entire thing on so many levels. I'm just not going to, because this is not the show where we're going to do that tonight.
So
And I can help you. I can go back to the 12th century.
Oh, I can
and
do
help
better.
Get started. Oh, really?
I can do better.
Oh,
It
let's talk.
is mostly kept underground because it's spreading through the homeschool movement.
yeah, well, that was going to be part of it. But what I was
That's
also going to mention,
protectionism, because that's the only way they can sustain it.
yeah, what I was gonna specifically mention was that as far as the keeping kids isolated, homeschooled, which there's a whole thing on that, and there's somebody who's got their ears perked up right about now for my saying it. Yeah, I'm thinking of you and the situation. I'm thinking about it, and I'm running some stuff in my head, just so you know. The problem is that if you have these kids who are completely isolated, homeschooled, don't get the sexual understanding that they should from just strict biology, you end up with people who, well, let's face it, are going to do it wrong, I guess is probably the best way of putting it. And I know, well, instincts take over and you know exactly what you do. There's no...
And, yeah, and it's then it's not just a quiverful movement. It's been shown time and again with any kind of isolationist sort of religious movement or cult movement that sexual abuse and child abuse are rampant, and it's all kept sort of swept under the carpet and hushed up on there, and it's massively underreported because these are environments where people are brought up with very warped, very weird views of human relationships and sex. No kind of very often no kind of value placed on women or recognition of women having rights on that, and say time and through the whole homeschooling and the isolation, doctors and teachers and wider society don't get to see any of the warning signs.
Yeah, the parents who do this are all sorts of evil, because not only are they bringing up their children in ignorance, they're making sure that their children won't be able to adapt to society, to the rest of society. They're making them basically dysfunctional for their entire lives.
Yeah, this is definitely something that we really gotta go a lot more in depth into in a full on episode.
Yeah.
I will see about that, because I've got something that's been stewing for next week, and I got to really see about getting that done. But we're definitely going to have to revisit this and delve a little bit further. To get off of the heavier topic of it all, well, first off, I'm kind of waiting to hear from somebody if they'll pop in for a couple of moments. Kim has hit us with another one, which very nice. Thank you. Favorite breakfast dish. I'm gonna open it up with Catherine Zeta-Jones. It's not gonna happen, but I can dream. Katerina Witt. For what it's worth, believe it or not, when Fuj was still alive, she would have said, "Yep, okay, right there with you." To that extent. Anyway, I don't know. Who wants? I'm not going to go with any kind of stereotypes of anything, because I'm going to.
I'm just going to speak as a man.
You do that.
Best I've ever had, and this is just my most gluttonous moment ever. 1 dozen over easy eggs. Wow. There's actually, yeah, it's amazing that, I still fit in these pants. I don't know. I don't know. I just eat whatever the hell I want, and I just don't get that flabby. It's just the way I am.
You make me
Just
sick.
you bastard, you.
I will.
People like
I
you
will
suck.
I will say, there is very little as far as breakfast foods that I will not eat. However, because I love them all. Omelets, French toast, whatever. I'll eat it all. But there is one dish that I cannot stand, and I refuse to eat. And I want to smack the hell out of whoever came up with it.
Uh-oh.
Sausage gravy. And there's
Shut your mouth.
no euphemism there whatsoever, but sausage gravy sucks. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
I do not like the taste of wet flour in my mouth.
Them's fighting words.
Oh, yeah, I knew this was going to happen.
I have no idea what
Sausage
the hell
gravy is garbage.
I've no idea what sausage gravy even is.
It's,
Good.
It's a southern U.S. Thing, Chris.
And apparently it's a big thing in the Army because, in all of the armed forces, because we draw a lot of our recruits.
That was chipped beef on toast. That was different.
No. That was sausage gravy.
Bull.
Nasty. That was nasty.
Next, you're going to tell me you don't like sweet tea.
No, I do like sweet tea, and I like grits. Hell, I like oh shoot, what are those little green things called? It starts with an O.
No.
What, fried okra?
Yes, like that too. But
I'm glad you clarified that, because I was going to go with opossum leftovers.
No.
No.
Fried okra is actually something I've developed a taste for.
yeah, that's pretty good. Sausage gravy, no.
Okay, well, I have a question.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Okay, hit me with your best shot. Go ahead.
Oh, crap.
Well, it'd be for Shijin or any of you. Do you prefer New York style pizza or Chicago?
Oh,
Now, see, this is where Shujin and I have to butt heads, because there's many things that we agree on, but him being the Brooklyner and me being from Chicago, my formative years were in Chicago. I did get, the latter half of that in Ohio, but still. Shu, take it away.
I'm going to describe something that most people would never have experienced before. Sicilian pizza in Brooklyn. You're used to typically very thin crusted pizza with a puffy outside, and usually you don't get the puffy like they do in Brooklyn, the New York area, but a Sicilian pie in New York area is about 1.5 inches, 2 inches tall, fluffy as all get out. You've got cheese and tomato sauce up all on the top with sliced meatball. That's something I miss.
So in other words, what you're trying to say, Shujin, is when we're posed the question, New York or Chicago style pizza, our response is Sicilian.
Neither.
Yeah, good answer.
I can go with that. I can go with that. Thank you very much.
For those of you that don't,
Homer.
yes, for those of you
I've got
that
to go with the New York.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those of you that don't get the joke at this point, rule number 2 is you don't talk about the family. Some of you get the reference. The rest of you really just don't even ask. Just don't even ask.
Oh, boy.
It's just business.
It is completely just business. And remember, if you're going on the New Jersey Turnpike, don't stop at don't just throw them your money at the toll booth. Don't even stop. Just keep rolling right on through. Just keep rolling right on through.
Remember, leave the gun, bring the canola.
Yes, cannoli is good. See, okay. By the way, and Dallin's gonna have fun at my expense on this one afterwards. Joey, I think the only reason why you eat as much as you do and you don't gain weight is probably because it gets exploded out of you. That's where all the weight is gone, somewhere else.
I beg your pardon.
You can beg all you want.
Are you trying to imply that I have what we in the military might refer to as a backblast area?
It could be. Dallin, wouldn't you agree with me? His problem is that he just gets holes punched in him through, stuff that really shouldn't.
Oh, you were making that joke. Okay, never mind.
So, boxers.
That's
Oh,
just
this is gonna be fun to post.
that's just great. That's just great right there.
Oh,
Change frequency.
bring it around, bring it around.
You know what? A lot of hosts would feel bad that the co-hosts were actually getting the jokes. I'm not one of those people. We'll be accepting applications for those that would like to join us on the air in the following weeks, so just don't worry about it. It'll be fine. God. And Renee had asked apparently a while ago if I feel left out, then I can answer. I don't even know what the hell that's for. So you know what? Screw it. I'm just getting rid of that.
It was for the boxers of brief thing because she had directed it specifically to Dallin and Joseph.
You know what? I couldn't even say for sure. So I'm just going to go on error on the side of caution and just say, you know what? I don't know what that's in reference to.
Whatever's clean. Laundry day.
Have you eaten a taco?
I'm not answering that because I know that entire question was only a euphemism to begin with.
I think they came from the same source.
Oh boy.
No. The boxers and briefs and the taco hot dog euphemism was from two different people.
Have I eaten? Yes. Have I eaten mini tacos? Yes. They fit very nicely in the microwave. They're really good. You can get them in a box of like 144 from BJ's. It's really great.
I gotta say.
Yeah, we got Taco Tuesday up here, 99 cents each.
I gotta say. Taco Bell.
Hurry up.
And yes, I'm putting these into a particular way that doesn't show up on the camera because this is not a Power of 10 show. But other places, like in my hometown, there's this one restaurant, El Dorado, which, authentic Mexican cuisine. They give you a taco. It's a friggin' taco.
Oh, there you go. That's good.
But fajita. The kind of fajita where they bring it out on the wooden plate with the frying pan on top, or the skillet, and it's still on the skillet, and you go ahead and they bring you out the freshly baked tortillas or fajitas. You go ahead and you pile on it.
I mean, the lawsuit just waiting to have happen.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's your run-of-the-mill Chinese buffet, which is my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I know it's terrible for me. It's just...
Damn.
Actually, I really want to try that. I want to try that one Taco Bell that's up in Cedar Rapids. I hear you get a free side of meth with every taco plate.
Yeah, Chris, we're gonna say.
Personally, I just love any food served on a really hot iron skillet. It's perfect food for atheists because they,
Look, I've seen British cuisine. You might as well just start calling it penance.
But it's because
I live in France.
One guy found out if you try and bow your head and pray over a red hot iron skillet, you end up burning your face.
Look, I don't want to hear nothing from France, okay? Between toad sucking and horse munching, I don't want to hear it.
What about flambé? Come on. You'd eat anything if it was flambé.
You know
there's nothing wrong with eating horse.
I'm gonna get so much Euro hate from this show.
Hey, we got a good one in the Q&A from Katie.
Yeah, I can honestly say I have no knowledge about this sucker whatsoever, but
I can speak to this one.
All right. So here,
France.
Yeah. All right. So Katie has put, has anyone here seen or heard of the Skeptic Fence Show interview with Dr. Robert Price? Price stated he could not wait to vote for Trump. That one blew me away. I know nothing about this other than I'm waiting for the ticket to be Trump and my hair, as far as his ticket is concerned, but he should get a fashion ticket, I guess is the best way to go. Okay. Dallin, you said that you've got something you know about this?
Well, I've just recently started watching the Skeptic Fence show, listening to it on podcast. It's kind of like us. It's a video hangout, although I don't think they use Google Plus. Let's just say whatever they're doing it pretty good.
Basically they've got money, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Well, they do have Patreon, so.
Oh, there you go.
But anyways, no, it's current events. So they do the headlines like a lot of other shows do, and they have their discussions about it. I actually did catch. I've listened to a couple with this Robert Price fella. He's an interesting one. He's got some. He's got a lot of opinions and views that you would not typically hear on a show like this, or on a skeptic/atheist show. And yeah, I found it interesting. The other big selling point is one of the guys on the Skeptic Fence show. He goes with the name TJ on the show, but he's on YouTube. He's known as Coctopus Prime. He does his own little bit, the Cooter Award. It's kind of like Wildwood Claire's Dim Bulb of the Week, if you're familiar with that, where he basically singles out an apologist or somebody like that, rips them a new one, and then awards them this week's Cooter Award for being, quote, the dumbest horn kicker he could find on the internet. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, just go look for the Cooter Report or the Cooter Awards. You won't regret it. That's a hell of a show, too. I highly recommend it to anybody who's looking for stuff.
Okay, Chris, really quickly, because I got somebody that I'm going to pull in just a couple of moments here. Was there anything you wanted to pop on that one also?
No, except I might start checking out the Skeptic Fence show.
Okay. And while that is waiting, here we go. I'm having somebody pop in for just a couple of moments as we're getting ready to wind down over here, because I've been waiting to get him on for a little while. And this is going to work out really good because Joshy had just sent this great question, and this is going to be somebody that is going to have a perfect opportunity for us to bounce it off of. And by the way, Tech, you're with us at this point, right? I mean, you've been in and out and in and out and in and out. And
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I was just getting a little bit worried because you popped in, popped out, pipped in, popped out, and I was a little worried for you.
Well, for a while there, it sounded like you guys were talking on, like somebody had pre-recorded your conversation, and then was taking the slider bar and sliding it forward, and skipping over words and making it sound faster and everything else. And well, apparently, a lot of people are having that problems on their phone. I was just doing a little research, but my inner tech and all that, but apparently not in the browser. I have no idea what the hell it is with Hangouts, but I can play Minecraft on my system, I can play all sorts of games, I can do all sorts of applications, but as soon as I open a single browser window and use the Hangouts plugin, no, it's kind of like Google saying, go hang yourself, have a nice day.
Fair
the
enough.
Google Hang Yourself app.
Yeah, it's called Hangouts.
Damn it, I can't make the joke I was about to. I really can't. Damn it.
Flash?
Oh, just do it anyway.
I really shouldn't. It's been too soon.
You already said taint in the very opener, so...
Nick Morganmore just said fuck on Australian national radio.
Thank you. Thank you ever so much for that one. I appreciate that. Why? Why would he go and do something like that?
Because that's his name.
That's just great. That's just great.
Were you bringing someone in, Shujin?
I'm working on it. Apparently, he's just. Don't know where the hell it is. I just sent him a text message and just said, yeah, the hell invite's over to you. What the hell? It's why? Okay, why would Nick? No, more importantly, why would somebody who was interviewing Nick not have a 5.5 second delay? It's just me.
Well, if they didn't have it before, they've sure as hell got it now.
I don't know what the Australian TVs or national radios like with swearing.
What did they say? Or did the program air?
Oh dear.
I don't know. We will see what happens. Joining us on the air for a couple of moments as we get finalized over here, direct from some points known as Venomous Brisbane, Mr. Jake Farwharton Esquire the Third.
Who calls it that?
Hi, Jake.
Nice to meet you.
It's Bridget.
Hey, y'all. What's happening? Who's here today?
Okay.
Bridget Fitch is here.
And Chris
Awesome.
from
Hello.
England. And Dallin from Canada.
Good day.
Hey, Dallin.
Joseph, previously from Canada, now in France.
So
Joseph.
now, good day, eh?
You fail,
Bonsoir.
sir. You fail hard.
Yep.
Bonsoir,
Joey.
Joseph.
All right. Joey in Pittsburgh, south of me.
Hey, peace off.
Hey, Joey.
And Unrenault Tech from Maryland.
Hey, Renaud. Can you take
Good day, mate.
Sorry,
And-
I'm just making coffee.
So we already
I'm
hit Nick on
fulfilling
this
coffee
one.
orders.
We already hit Nick on this one. We got to ask you too. There are toilet frogs.
Oh yeah. That's a thing.
Oh God.
Okay, that's all we
honestly,
need to know.
I'm
Two
constantly
confirmations, ladies and
surprised by how surprised other people are about the nature of nature. No, your mum's is the other coffee. Sorry. Yeah, in Australia, they just do what they do. You know, the Tasmanian devil eats everything. The snakes bite everything. The dingoes bite everything and take every baby. And you know, the the frogs sometimes, because they like water, hang out in a toilet.
And we've already established that the spiders fly.
And
Oh
that's,
yeah.
that's just
And
the
the
moral
drunk
I just
bastard.
took on Saturday.
You know, actually, they discovered a new type of spider in Brazil this last week that floats from the treetops. Just jumps from the treetop and then floats down
Yeah.
and drops on and eats prey.
I'm not visiting Australia.
Yeah, I heard about this.
That wasn't Australia. That was Brazil. But
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to Brazil either.
Yeah, I actually heard about that spider.
Brazil also has the wandering spider, which, if you know
they
about
do,
that one,
yeah, absolutely. They're great for any time you need a stiff drink.
Remember, if it lasts longer than 4 hours, call a doctor.
Well,
Or
actually,
if you're in Brazil, call a. Never mind.
Actually, if it's lasted longer than 4 hours, then you're still alive, and it's okay. You probably don't need to call a doctor. That was the surprising finding from that. They found that the people who survived had enduring erections, but not many people survived.
No. They
If
didn't
it
have
lasts longer than 4 hours,
They had-
she's probably very happy.
They didn't just have.
if it lasts longer than 4 hours, you should really be thanking.
They had what there is a very specific term for their condition, and that is priapism. And no, I don't care what kind of guy you are, you may not know what the hell it is, but you sure as hell don't want it.
Yep.
So I was actually going to try to get you several. Let me see, what time is it on my watch right about now? Several hours ago, while I was on the road, to have you wish Tiny Trip a happy birthday. But we'll see about that for a little bit later. That's your cue. Go ahead and just
Oh,
say.
I'm sorry about that.
Just
happy birthday, Tiny Tribble.
turning 13. You've got a little one. How old is she now?
My big one's 17, and my little one is 10.
Yeah.
She made it to 17 and you haven't killed her.
Wow.
Or locked her in a basement.
Well, no. See, there's this thing in the atheism community. If they survive past 3, they have to. They're automatically given a bye. If you've killed them and eaten them before that point, it's fair game.
Well, if
We've
you've
already
killed them and
touched
eaten
on
them by that
food.
point, they were
We've
probably
already
Christian
touched on
babies.
food. Let's not touch on 3 Keys Baby.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
Chicago style.
We'll talk on that one later. Anyway, what I can actually get you for really quick, Jake, a question that had come up, and it's not exactly relevant for you directly at this point, but I want to have your input. The question that was posed to us was Bill Nye or Beekman's World. Now, both of those shows were science-based for kids, ostensibly, and the idea was to try to come up with some way of explaining science. I'm assuming Bill Nye, at the very least, you're at least familiar with his old show, yay?
Yeah, absolutely. Beekman, wasn't he the funny scientist from the Muppets? No, it wasn't.
No,
that was Beaker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Beekman was the guy who wore the lab coat and had the guy who was dressed up in a rat suit and the young lady with the pigtails.
no.
okay.
That may be too American culture for me.
Yeah, which, no worries, considering that you don't know the Guess Who band or the Gap band or CNC Music Factory or music of any real importance or anything. It doesn't really much matter. It's fine. It's fine. It's perfectly fine.
Despite the fact that I do have a 17-year-old daughter, I am quite young, unfortunately. So yeah, I may have missed some of that. But yeah, look, for me, science communication, you can't go past Papa Sagan. He was instrumental. Even my dad talks of him fondly. So he was huge. But Bill Nye, I didn't actually catch until I was a fully grown adult, and his things went on YouTube because he was never syndicated in Australia. But we had our own annoying science explainers, and they weren't very good, frankly.
See, there were a couple of them that have come through on our side. Beekman was one of them. It was again another one of these very flashy, quick, loud things. It was fun, I will admit. Bill
It's
Nye,
hilarious.
yes. Bill Nye, of course, we know now full well that what he sowed with his show has come forward, and he's ready to go and keep doing with it, which he kind of has. And I don't know how much it covered over to you guys, but does the name Mr. Wizard ring a bell?
It does, yeah, to an extent, but I don't know why.
All right. He was doing the kind of sciencey kind of things for kids for a couple of decades. I think the better part of like 30 years, off and on, if nothing else. But I guess besides Carl Sagan, because we have touched on Cosmos and the reissue, second coming, or whatever people want to call it at this point. Besides Carl and Neil, because I mean it's just kind of hand in hand. Who do you think is one of the best science communicators that we've got that is like accessible to the people who can actually latch onto and say, yeah, I want to hear what he's got to say?
Oh well.
Besides yourself.
So if you include in science, the natural sciences, explanation of just the natural world and biology, David Attenborough is the go-to guy, I suppose.
Brilliant.
And I suppose I've been watching his various iterations of documentaries for all of my life. I can't think of too many beyond that, but just off the cuff, I mean, in the last few years, there's been this popularization of science, which is fantastic, and it's meant that we've had some pretty high quality documentaries and even television series coming out because of that. People like Brian Cox.
Amazing.
Brian Greene did his Fabric of the Cosmos.
Yes.
Which was awesome. What the Bleep Do We Know? Of course, one of the seminal documentaries. If you've never seen that, you should. It was great. So there's plenty of good ones in the last little while, I think. But further back than that, I could be wrong. Obviously, please feel welcome to show me to be wrong. But I don't think there was a great deal of money, let alone trust, put aside for people who were going to make science-themed documentaries. So as a consequence, I don't think we've got very many good ones.
I'm surprised that nobody mentioned Through the Wormhole. I mean, as much as I love Morgan Freeman...
I love Morgan Freeman. I've got that.
That was cool, yeah.
Yeah. But he got into the sensationalist, giving credibility to certain theories, like,
ID, intelligent design. But he to his full credit, in subsequent interviews where he's been asked about that by people who presumed him to be a believer, he's quickly set them straight. So it's highly possible, and I don't really have an issue with this because Christians need to believe as well, and the universe is part of their natural world as well. They just have a different explanation for it in to some respects. So it's kind of good to keep things open-ended in that way, even if they end up just being, if you like, gateway documentaries.
Dr. Michio Kaku.
Yeah, he was awesome. Absolutely awesome. A cool story about Michio Kaku? He built, in his early teens, he built a collider, a hadron collider in his basement, in his parents' basement. And he had to get plutonium for it. And I'm not sure whether the last part of this story is correct, but there was a radiation leak, and police were called, and the university was called, and as a consequence of him building a collider, an atom smasher, basically in his basement, he was given a scholarship to a high-ranking university. I think he was a Harvard guy, but just tremendous story, that guy.
The way that you're describing that, I was starting to think. No, wait a second. I've heard this before. Wasn't that the Philadelphia experiment? I could be wrong. I know I'm an older guy compared to you, but I'm pretty sure that's the right plot. It was all smuggled out in bottles of what the hell was it? Shampoo to keep the radiation in. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Manhattan.
Adore him.
It
could have been that. I don't know what the hell it was. Anyway,
the Manhattan Project was the atom bomb, obviously.
Philadelphia
was that phasing experiment.
Yeah, well, it movie titles. What are you going to do? Firefox. It means nothing to you, right?
Stephen Jay Gould was a good one.
Yep. Yeah, totally. I'm trying to think of. I can't think off the top of my head that great quote from him. It's just there's no way I can bring it out. But he's an enduring. Some of his more quotable quotes are more enduring, grand cosmological quotes.
That's okay. There is one quote I want to throw past you really quickly before we get out of here because Yes, Stephen Fry. It's not the one that I was going to go to, but I just happened to have hit this one first. And the quote is from Stephen Fry, at least I'm pretty sure that's who it is, and it says, "It's now very common to hear people say, I'm rather offended by that, as if that gives them certain rights. It's actually nothing more. It's simply a wine. It's no more than a wine. I find that offensive. It has no meaning. It has no purpose. It has no reason to be respected as a phrase. I am offended by that. Well, so fucking what? Now, Stephen Fry has had a lot of things to say over the last few years. Most notably, if I remember right, wasn't it he a couple of years ago there was a debate about the overall good or bad of the Catholic Church, and he
Yep.
had some amazing,
Yeah.
wonderful things to say.
With
He sat
Hitchens.
beside Hitchens for that debate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an IQ or what was it? Q squared, IQ squared,
Yeah.
intelligence squared debate. Yeah.
I believe so. Stephen Fry, is an amazing individual. He is an absolute force of nature when it comes to explaining whatever it is that he wants to get his point across of. And truth be told, I don't think that he gets nearly as much. I want to use the term gameplay, as much face time, shall we say, as
That's exactly why.
because he speaks his mind. And the last question that I want to have for you on this one, because of that quote specifically, people who end up speaking their mind so clearly, so in your face, even if it's not necessarily to insult you, but to just say, here's my position in all its starkness, in all its naked beauty, and they will get shunned, they will get turned away because they're not being diplomatic enough, some might think. Do you think, as somebody who is scientifically literate, who does deal with a lot of this stuff, is that a detriment to getting points across, or is it a boon? I mean, Stephen Fry, in this way, we've had Hitchens, who in his own way was an amazing person to lock horns against for exactly the same reason. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing to have it out there?
Well, I'm sure that it's a detriment in some ways, in that he'll never get a job on some religious TV channel. But ultimately, the ability to articulate one's thoughts makes one more attractive to media where informed opinions, evidence-based opinions are. In terms of British TV, he's always going to be the most, one of the most prolific speakers, and he is. He remains a most prolific speaker. So he has bipolar disorder and has tremendous issues with appearing in public. So he probably does as many TV appearances as he possibly can. And that is pretty prolific, but certainly he could do more, perhaps, if he didn't have that monkey on his back.
Fair enough. Yeah, Joseph, you wanted to say something real quick.
Yeah, well, it's his kind of overall attitude may be seen by some as offensive, but I think what he's doing is important, just saying it how it is. Because you have to remember that these people, people with religious points of view, they're not used to seeing their religion questioned, and especially in that way. And with their, they tend to hang on to appeals to authority. So to actually see their religion being questioned in that way, that leaves a mark, really. I mean, even on believers.
I think he's also the quintessential British person. He is the well-spoken, opinionated, articulate gentleman who has opinions on every subject that has ever been considered, he is pretty much the personification of the British gentleman.
He's almost a modern-day Oscar Wilde.
Well, he is complete with flamboyant dress sense. So it's yeah.
Yeah,
I'm with you there.
That's awesome.
yeah. I think he's got another point. Another brilliant science communicator, Brian Cox, come up with a quote on a similar theme that the problem with today's world is that everyone believes that they have the right to express their opinion and have others listen to it.
Yeah.
The correct statement of individual rights is that everyone has a right to an opinion, but crucially that opinion can be roundly ignored and even made fun of, particularly if it is demonstrably nonsense.
Oh, beautiful.
And people will claim offence, whether genuine or feigned. And as Steve Fry says, it means nothing. It does nothing to support their opinion on there. And if you back off or treat them with kid gloves purely because they hold an opinion, or express their offence, it does nothing for anyone.
Yeah.
I made a T-shirt for Brian Cox's fan club, but it never really took off.
Well, that's a claim to fame.
Do you want to see it?
What does it say?
Just a second.
I can't see it because I'm on my phone, but I'd love to hear the quote.
Oh, it's a play on the old "I love New York" symbol, but apparently it's "I heart Cox." So for those of you that are listening onto the audio portion of this, all enjoy that visual. Enjoy that.
Well, I like you too.
Go from there. Well, we have to see about getting ourselves on out of here. It's about our time. So first off, just to get us on out of here, Mr. Dr. Jake Farwharton, Esquire the Third, that's your name. Thank you so very much for your time, and please extend our gratitude to Crystal for putting up with you. And if anyone would like to find Mr. Jake Farwharton, Esquire the Third, I'll come up with some more titles later. Mr. Dr. Jake Farwharton the Third, Esquire. That's what it is. The Imaginary Friend Show Dotcom Podcast, amongst other items.
Which you, of course, occasionally appear on.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
and also have a new podcast, Good Advice, which you also appear occasionally on as well. So
I have absolutely no idea what you're referring to, sir. You just call me when you need somebody at the last minute because you know full well. Oh yeah, he's a parent too. He's got no life. Sure, let's go ahead and press on him. Sure, why not?
Media whore.
But I would say you are always available when I call, and I'm forever grateful. Which is why I answer your call when you call. But absolutely, thank you very much, Shujin, and of course, happy birthday to Tiny Tribble.
I'll make sure that gets passed along. Thank you so much, man. You take good care of yourself, and keep your doors closed at night. You know.
And the toilet seat down.
I was going to say,
the green tree frogs are amazing. Trust me, they're absolutely awesome. I'll send you a picture next time I see one.
You go right ahead and do that. I will find a shotgun to shoot it with and film it for you, just for that.
Oh, they're native. You can certainly take it to the toads, but the frogs, they're my bros.
Oh, Jack, one note on the toilet frogs. What happens when you flush? Do they float or do they just disappear?
That's a good
Well,
question.
you don't flush them. That's the secret. That's the
And in
secret.
Australia, do they turn clockwise or counterclockwise?
There's a one of the when we first saw about the toilet frogs, somebody sent up a GIF, an animated GIF, where they're up underneath where the water comes down, and they're hanging on for dear life during the flush. So flush away. They'll hang around. They've somehow got a death grip on there somewheres.
Oh yeah, but no, that makes me feel awful because all pipes lead to the sea, unfortunately, and they require fresh water. So they see you later. Reverse osmosis.
Well, just dump them into Manly Harbor. They can figure out which way they want to go from there, right?
42 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
Yes.
I'll see you later, guys. Enjoy your evening.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Take care.
See ya. Bye.
Jake for Warden. So we gotta get our asses on out of here. So everybody, thank you so very much for your time. Jake, go away. Thank you.
Don't go away, man.
Just get the hell out. Just get the hell out. Anyway, as always, everybody, thank you so very much for hanging out with us tonight. We hope you've had a couple of good laughs, because if you didn't, you're not doing it right, apparently, at this point, now that we're finding a way of doing this. And, of course, thank you all of you who have participated in the Q&A. It's really helpful, and we really enjoy the hell out of it. As always, thank you very much for the panel. Joseph, good morning. Thank you very much. You have yourself enjoy the rest of your coffee, because you've had just only one cup, it looks like.
I've had a whole pot.
Oh, well. Fine, screw
For
you
you
too,
too, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, he's ready for today.
Yeah, that's true enough. Chris, of course, thank you very much. I'm glad that you made it back from your trip.
Yeah, it's I very nearly ended up in Edinburgh on the way home. I fell asleep on the train.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, there's a thing about this. Very quickly, when Fuji and I went to Japan in '99, I found it incredibly amazing that people would go on the train, fall asleep, and then wake up 30 seconds before they got to their train stop.
Wow.
I'm amazed because I don't have that ability.
I don't either.
Can't imagine why. Neither do I.
Probably something with being up at 4 o'clock in the damn morning to do this show before jumping on the train.
You know what? That's fine. That's fine. I see how it is. That's fine. We'll come back to that in a second. Joey, thank you for your time, of course. 2 nights in a row. Thank you. So you take care of yourself.
What else am I gonna do?
You're gonna sweat your balls off, is what you ball off.
No. Hold on, we're not gonna get into that joke, but it's not actually that god awful right now. It's cooling down. Let's just hope it keeps.
Yep, that's true enough. That's true enough. Not to mention, hey, we all just lived through the hottest month on record, so kudos to all of us. There you go. Bridget, you take care of yourself. Thank you so very much for your time, hon.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, if only. Dallin, you take care of yourself. Have a good and you got stuff that you want to plug yet at this point, or you're still writing and waiting to record? That's how you're going to do it now, right?
Well, actually, editing right now. I'm about 2/3 of the way through before I start re-recording. But still writing away, yeah. If something big happens, I'll let you know.
And re-recording?
Yes, if you look down in the corner there, you'll see the little icon. That's actually a book cover. Well, the first book cover for my little podcast novel project called Outcast, which you can find at outcastnovel.yo5.ca. It's got absolutely nothing to do with this show.
But it's got everything to do with he writes a damn good novel.
Yeah, there's plot, there's violence, there's
intrigue,
romance, some intrigue.
There's cats.
Big cats, yeah.
Cats, yep.
Cats beating the crap out of each other. So if you like cat fights, you might like the book. I'll leave that right where it is.
And Unrenowned Tech, I don't know if you are back. Are you to say goodnight? It would appear that we did not. That we have missed him at some point, unfortunately.
It's either that or
maybe
it's
he's
just
resumed
muted.
his role as the sleeping atheist.
Yeah, it's.
Ari insists on using Internet Explorer.
I don't know that that's it, but be that as it may, we will see. Really quickly before we get out of here, I want to hit one thing really quickly. A question that has not come up for us in any official capacity, except one that pops up into my head. Why don't you do fundraising or Patreon or anything like that? It's simple. I don't wanna. I don't want to deal with the money. I don't want to be dealing with the possibilities of taxes. I don't want to be dealing with who's supposed to get the money, what it's going to be going to. I don't want to ever have to deal with anybody saying, what the hell are you doing? Plus, I want it to always be known. We do this because we can, not because we're trying to make a buck off of it. We're trying to help where we can as much as we can. Because if we can do it on a shoestring budget, you can do it. You don't need to spend a lot of money. We're using all the equipment that we had already before. What have we paid extra for so far? The domain. Grand scheme of things, it's really not a hell of a lot.
My coffee.
And his coffee. And his e-stick that he's constantly shoving into his face. Which brings us back around to the tacos question.
Oh.
You're welcome. Meantime,
Sometimes I wonder if coming full circle on this show just means we're just circling the drain.
And it always depends. Is it clockwise or counterclockwise, and do you croak at the bottom of it all? We need to go. Yes.
But you weren't there.
Oh. Whatever you do, before you flush, don't light a match.
See, and the fact that you weren't there, I'm taking that right now as a good thing, because truthfully, if ever I was going to be using the loo and something slimy was touching my buttocks, I know full well I'm not in Australia. I'm in Japan. We need to leave because some people will actually understand that. If you would like to contact us, please send an email over to podcast@holycrapthevlogcast.com. You can find the show over on Twitter @holycraptv, on Facebook /holycrapthevlogcast. Find us over there. Send us a like. We're getting pretty close to an actual level worthwhile. And if you'd like to find me over on any of these things, if you'd like to friend me on Facebook, you can find it under Shujin Tribble. Just remember to let me know that you're finding me because of the show. I've gotten a couple of friend requests. I don't recognize people. I don't know what the hell you know me from. You don't have anything in common with me. Let me know so at least I know that it's like legit. And because I was picked on for, I'm talking about like 5 in the last like 2 or 3 weeks, where suddenly there's this. I don't know you. You're too pretty to know me. What? Who the hell? Whatever. You know the kind of things I'm talking about.
Catfishing.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Anyway, we'll be looking forward to next week's show. I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to tackle, because some people have actually chimed in and said, yeah, I really want you to do it. We're going to talk about triggers. We're going to talk about... I think I'm going to rename it, however, as emotional landmines.
Or don't touch my bubble.
Well, actually, I was going to go with "Don't Kick My Puppy," but
no, we've already done that one.
Exactly.
Oh.
There's a reason for planning on using that as a title. Well, we'll talk much more about that next week. I will get the announcement out for the show probably Monday, because I'm just going to lock us in and just be done with it. So expect to see that. If you're looking to do anything with the website, if you see something weird going on, please let me know. I can see what's kind of going on. I think I've got a pretty good handle as to what's going on. I just have to get it addressed is all. Meantime, thank you guys so very much. And Nick Morganmore, screw you, man. Screw you. He knows what he did. He knows exactly what he did.
Uh-oh.
Discuss it another time, when we can go ahead and we can rag on his ass like he deserves. In the meantime, as always, everybody, thank you very much for your time. We know we're not the lowest tier out there, but we're not going to be setting any records as by any stretch of the imagination. So come on back for us next time. Subscribe, follow us on all of the things, and as always, I say my goodnights for all of you. I say my goodnights for my lady too, because it's 10 years on and I'm still in love. Matane Fujin, I love you and I miss you. She's 13, man. We did good. Dream of me. Until the next time we get together, everyone, of course, as always, you take good care and good night.